Curtis Wayka, fuel specialist for Menominee Tribal Enterprises. Work in the fuels department. Basically our goals are to treat hazard fuels in the forest and the surrounding communities.
My name is Bernard Bowman Jr. I'm a fire operations specialist for Menominee Tribal Enterprise, and we do forest protection, fire for the Menominee tribe. We do prevention for, like with Smokey Bear. We do firefighting. We cover the fuels program where I'm in charge of, and we do preparedness. We get ready for any kind of burning or fires that might be on the reservation.
So there's different areas around the reservation that that we focus on, and one of our main focuses is the Legend Lake area, also the South Branch area and the Middle Village area. Anywhere where there's urban interface, which is where the urban areas mix or meet up with the wildland. So for these specific areas, there's 3 phases to it. They'll come through with the fuels crew guys. They'll come through. They'll thin it. They'll pull everything out of the rows where our machines can't get, and then they will push everything into the middle. Piling it is the second phase, and then the mastication part, which is what you see right here, is a finished product. Another one of the benefits to what we're doing is versus the biomass, which was done in 2009 and 10 or and around them years. But what they did then was they would come in, they would chip it all, and they would truck it all off the reservation to different areas that had taken the biomass. But what we're doing is we mulch it here on site, and everything stays on site. We're not removing any of the nutrients. So that's one of the other benefits. And then also another one of the benefits to what we're doing is the protection and health of the forest. So that was one of the driving factors behind trying to find a different way to reduce the fuels out here.
My main objective, or to do with the MTE, is to suppress fires. And as far as fires, we try to put them out, keep them small, so they don't get into large catastrophic fires that could burn down the forest.
The fire occurrence in the Legend Lake area is probably the highest area on the reservation that we have to mitigate, versus the west side of the reservation, which is wetter soils, more nutrient-rich soils, so they don't burn as much. Little greener vegetation, where this area out here it doesn't hold the water as well, and dries a lot faster because of the sands. Let's say we get a fire off of this site that comes through, and it hits this site. The fires, it actually provides a checkpoint, so it gives it something to stop at and lower fire intensity. So we can use these as fuel breaks, which the guys would be able to attack the fire, put it out much easier than the untreated areas. There are a couple different ways that we treat the fuels out here. There's the mechanical side of fuels, which is what you're looking at right now, and then there's also the prescribed fire side, which is we'll do controlled burns under specific weather parameters that we have to fall in line with in order to pull a burn off. And then behind that is the planning for working with the suppression side.
We do it for silvicultural burns. We do it for site prep, just to get the area ready for burning or for planting trees or regrowth.
Specifically in the springtime, just to basically eliminate the fire risk with fire. So we're basically, we're using fire to eliminate fire, which may sound a little funny, but it's actually a really good forest management tool. We use fire in the forest also.
Well, there's techniques we use in burning. We have to have the wind-in factor, the RH. The burn that they're going to try doing today needs have rain before we burn it, and then rain after. So today's the perfect day for it.
This is the other side of hazard fuels is burning them. We use fire to burn, obviously burn off the dead cured grass. We use the fire for natural regeneration in some of the stands in the forest, and we use it also. We're also starting to use it for invasive species elimination, or we're testing areas to see what the effects are where we may or may not be able to help at some point. But so this burn here is about 75 acres. It's all grass fuel model, and then obviously tied to this, for us to be able to do this, is a whole process, like as far as the burn plan writing, the NEPA clearances, the weather prescriptions, and the lines we have to stay in order to do these burns. Over the weekend we were out of prescription, either the too low RH or the too high winds, or one of them we didn't line up. But today was a perfect day to get this in with the west wind. We needed to pull it off of County G and away from the houses. So basically what we're doing right now is we're creating a little bit of black line, getting some depth on the edge here that allows us to put more intensity in here to clean everything up. So the slowest part of what we're doing is this initial backlining, keeping the fire on that side and out of this side. That's pretty much fire in a nutshell here.
It's different firing techniques we use for different. If we want the fire to be less intense, we won't use as much head fire to get the fire to burn the area. We'll use more flanking or dot fires, or just different techniques used to reduce the intensity of the fire. We get most of our training by going out around the United States, is where we get our most experience fighting fires. Then around here we don't have as many fires as they would out somewhere else. So we send guys as much as we can to get experience doing fires, so when we do have a bigger, larger fire here, they have the qualifications and the experience to do that. Because for us to be able, we have to have qualifications, certain qualifications, like an engine boss to operate the engine. They have to have qualifications. You have to be a firefighter type 1 before you can be an engine boss. So it requires them to go out on a hand crew and get that experience, and then go out as engine bosses. They have to have so many assignments before you can be signed off on a certain task to qualify you for that. Otherwise you're just putting anybody in an engine, having them go fight a fire, and they can end up getting hurt. People get hurt all the time and killed, not knowing what they're doing. And then someone already qualified in that position will evaluate you, and they'll turn around and sign you off if they feel that you're ready to be an engine boss or whatever, task force leader.
Well, some of this, I mean, obviously this is number one, our torch. Drip torch, it's a mixture of diesel and gas. We use this to drag fire wherever we want. We have the two UTVs with water on them. We have the engines with 300 gallons of water. The UTVs carry about 65 gallons of water. And we also use a Can-Am with a drip torch mounted on a back called a rat tail, that we will unwind a wick, and it'll drip fuel out of a wick, and we're able to get more intensity and less exposure time for our guys versus having one guy out there on a machine and then our 4 guys out there with these, you know. So it's a little easier on our guys, and I mean it's more efficient for us too, time saving, cost, and everything, you know. It all works out.
There's good fire like we use in prescribed burning. We try to tell the kids there's a difference between good fire and bad fire. Like good fire would be heating your homes, cooking. Bad fire is something that can destroy your home, like kids playing with matches or lighters or stuff like that.
Yeah, fire's good. Fire's a good thing, you know. Fire's been a part of the ecosystem for, I don't know, probably all the way back to when it started. Fire's good for, obviously, for the hazard fuel stuff. It's good for the forest as far as opening up the seed bed. Some of the stands here, like the pine will use fire as far as opening up the seed bed. They need it to get in, you know. So we use fire as far as a forest management tool. It's probably one of the oldest forms of forest management there is, as far as burning and resetting and recycling resetting the cycle of forest growth and life, you know. And it's a different part for us, where you see all the big fires out west, and it's because of the lack of fuels, the lack of burning, the lack of fire, basically. The Smokey the Bear effect, the suppression put everything out kind of thing. Where for us, it's actually turned a little different way, where they took fire away from the ecosystem of the forest or whatever, and it actually made our forest less fire prone by the change in vegetation. The hardwoods coming in, less pine, less grass fields, less. So it's actually it's over a period of time, it's starting to change a little bit. But our goal is to reintroduce fire under a controlled environment and do what we can to make our forest as healthy as we can help it be.
And we're always looking for new firefighters. I mean, that's one thing I would suggest. If someone's interested in this field, get a hold of us and we can get you set up in becoming an entry-level firefighter and work their way up.